And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, welcome to episode 9, Shop Talk. I got a very important brother. It's good to meet you, brother.
You as well?
Know what I'm saying? This me and my brother Mike's first time meeting each other. We wanted to talk a lot. I wanted to talk to him so much, but I was like, man, don't talk to me. In the good way, right?
Right.
Yeah. I was like, yo, save me the material. But for those who don't know, I'd like to introduce you guys tonight to a very, very special guest to me. This man means a lot to me. This is my counterpart in the field, a man of high wisdom, knows his stuff. His channel is
Mike Check Appliance.
Mike Check Appliance. And for tonight, we're just doing a shop talk live. So with all that said, I'm not gonna introduce him. I'm gonna let him introduce him. Go ahead, brother. Let him know who you are.
If you don't know, I'm Mike Check. I got a channel. Been in the industry almost 13 years, I'll say right now. And I'm here to show my brother some love and help grow this thing, help grow the awareness of appliance repair pretty much.
All right. Brother Mike, let me ask you something, bro.
Yes, sir.
How long you been doing appliances now?
It's coming up on 14 years.
14 years.
Yeah, man. 14 years. Yep.
You've been fixing appliances for 14 years?
Yes, sir.
How did you start? That's the $1 million question.
Okay.
How did you start?
I was doing my daughter wasn't born yet. I was doing sheet metal work in Florida. I finished my last year of high school here, so
okay.
Got married young, and I had to work. My father always taught me you gotta work, or you don't eat. So, she was working for an appliance repair company as a receptionist. So,
she being
my ex-wife.
Your ex-wife.
Right.
Okay.
So she always worked for this appliance, just taking calls. Now I knew him, went to certain events, and I met him, so he knew of me. And when you're working in a union, when the job is done, sometimes you have to be on unemployment until you find another. They assign you to another job. I couldn't do that. She was pregnant. My daughter was about to be born, so I had to pretty much. I got with him like, hey, can I see if I want to work for you? And he's like, okay, come out and train for a day. After that first day, I was sold. That was it.
Brother Mike, there was a time that I applied for a union job.
Really?
I was working in my 2 jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way that they pitched it to me was you would start making $15.75 or something, and it was something like every 6 months they was giving you like a 50-cent raise or something.
That's how. Yeah.
And then the dude showed me the chart, and it was estimated that like after X amount of years and X amount of training, I was gonna be doing something like 29 or like a high number, and then with the OT, and then you become an actual 4.
That's what they tell you.
Like it seemed like the way to go.
Right.
And for those that are doing that, amen, and thank
I'm not
God.
gonna lie. I made money, and I did make money. When I was working, I made money, and back then, being 19 years old, I was bringing in maybe 400, almost working overtime, $500 a week. So working in the union. I took a pay cut. So
how much a week?
400 to 500
a week.
Working in the union, sheet metal, and
fabricator.
Right, putting up duct work, and so for the AC, for the HVAC guys. So I took a pay cut doing appliance repair. Pay cut. Yeah, I was my first when I was.
Oh, because you worked for somebody first.
Right. I worked for somebody.
Okay.
I didn't get it from the dirt like you. Start on my own, and
that was necessity. But
right.
We're gonna talk about that.
But no, I worked for somebody, and he's like, look, you getting paid training, pretty much. So you got to take a pay cut, And I'm like, okay. And I seen what he had and what he built. I'll take that pay cut, but eventually I was making more than I was doing in the sheet metal. So I mean, it all works out,
Let me ask you something, brother Mike. For the guy that's doing sheet metal, HVAC, or union, and is watching this channel and says, and you would know better than anybody, I come with a certain amount of skills doing sheet metal or HVAC or plumbing or electrical,
Right.
from a union perspective.
Right.
What can you tell them as far as what skills they have, they're gonna need, or what they have already could be incorporated or brought over into the appliance repair business? Like, did anything from your sheet metal experience or your sheet metal training actually help you? And if anyone was in a union, would any of their training help them? That's kind of like my question.
Okay. I guess to be specific, because I would generalize and say yeah, but certain trades like being a plumber, electrician, that's more inclined into the appliance repair than sheet metal, because you're doing, you're still working with your hands, working with tools, so that always helps toward appliance repair. But I can't say. The only thing that I can say from what I was doing in the union, that work ethic, the willingness to learn and humble yourself to, because you don't know everything. That's
Facts.
one thing. And just a respect for what for people that. But other than, I think like when I got into appliance repair, it was a whole nother. I already had the mindset, the ingenuity to use my hands and fix things. That was just if you love to fix things and just use your hands, if you do your own work at home and stuff like that, then that's a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Another thing, what I really learned is the willingness to help people. Like, if that's not number one, that's not what made me really succeed. That's what made me really succeed in appliance repair, is the willing, and like, because if you want to help people, you're gonna want to learn how to fix what you're working on. You're gonna want to know the knowledge to get better. So it all coincides. But yeah, I can't say particularly. Maybe if you're an electrician, some of that learning, voltage and amperage and stuff like that can go into appliance repair. That'll definitely help. But still, you got to relearn a lot of stuff. Is different with being an electrician. So coming from that skill set, I feel like you can't undermine appliance repair. You got to come at this thing like it's a whole nother monster. It's like you can't just come from another and say, okay, I got this appliance repair thing. It's like, I put out a lot of videos and tell people, oh, you can do this, you can do that, but you have to want to do it. If you don't got that drive or that beast in you to succeed, you're not gonna succeed. So simple.
Let me ask you something. When you started working for somebody,
Mm-hmm.
did they train you in everything?
Pretty much.
So you learned refrigerators, washers, dry out the door.
Right. And to get a little bit specific, because I probably haven't got specific on my page with it. The guy I worked for, he was a older black guy.
Mm-hmm.
He started his business in 1980, and in a small town. So when warranty work was, back then, he kind of got grandfathered in because nobody was doing the warranty work in his small town. Belglade, all those small out west towns.
In Florida.
In Florida.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, he so a lot of what he learned was old school style. So when I first was working with a meter, it was an analog meter. It wasn't digital. Breaking down old transmissions on Maytags. He pretty much told me step by step, but he kind of threw me out there at the same time. After maybe 2 weeks of riding with his other tech, which was his nephew at the time, his other tech, I was in my own van. He put me in my own van, and certain jobs where I
After 1 week.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. I'm not gonna give myself that much credit. 2 weeks, but it was still, I had to call him. I had my little, back then it wasn't a lot of Bluetooth. It was more wired, and I'll call him on certain jobs. Hey, hi, but if you want to do it, you'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And you'll learn to, because he taught me schematics. He taught me wiring. That he did give me those bases. And he told me the common problems on certain things, what to look for, where to go to first. Just little tips and tricks to get you through certain things that'll make sure that you do the customer right and fix the job. And me specifically, I did a lot of first-year warranty when I first started. So
First-year warranty. Elaborate to the crowd who don't know what that means.
first-year warranty is manufacturer's warranty under the manufacturer. So Whirlpool, Frigidaire, GE, anything that was back then more. Now they have extended where you can get parts and certain things after the first year, but everything in the first year is usually covered. So if you got a problem, you call Whirlpool, they send their technicians out, whoever's authorized, and I was that guy, pretty much.
That's pretty impressive. And did you have access to tech support and all that?
That's why I feel like I got a little upper hand, some, compared to say like you, who
Hey.
probably didn't have that. I mean, that's just the honest truth.
I'm a nobody.
I got a little cheat sheet. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
It's pretty much when I got on, he threw me to the first year stuff. So I'm
Okay.
on Whirlpool jobs called the Tech Line. So, but the Tech Line, what they do after a while, and this is what I'll tell people, and goes back to one of your videos. I remember you say you don't want to call the Tech Line and bother people. So after a while, you get a mindset. Okay, this is what I need to look for. This is what I need to do. And sometimes it correlates to different models and brands and certain readings. Especially with thermistors or certain ranges you'll learn by calling it. I called the Tech Line so much in my first year.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
In my first year,
Thank you.
Frigidaire Tech, and he was with all the major ones
Yeah.
at the time. So I was doing GE first year, Frigidaire first year, and Whirlpool first year.
Damn.
And
How many techs he had?
at that time, he had about 3. There was times when I was the only one,
Damn.
so I had to pick up the load of pretty much, and he had to turn the jobs down at that time. But that wasn't for long. That wasn't for long. It was just certain time. You know how that is. You more than I know about hiring guys, but I've trained certain guys for him. And matter of fact, before I actually left, I trained kind of updated his last guy.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how I started. First year warranty. So not a lot of you guys that's watching will have that opportunity. That's why I say I got lucky. It wasn't. I don't say go out there and work for somebody, but if I feel like it's a good thing if you do work for somebody, to really know if you like this business, if you really want to, because you really gotta like it to do it. So.
Amen. How much was you making doing all of that?
At the end of the beginning.
At the middle part, when you were like hitting your stride, you were past like the first hiccups. You kind of realized what you were doing, and you kind of get it into a flow. And the reason I ask is because the other day I did a video about appliance repair salaries,
Right.
myths. I was debunking and truths and stuff.
Right.
So I never did consult with you or ask you. But what was you kind of like doing? What kind of numbers was you looking at?
All right. So after when
If you feel comfortable.
Oh yeah, I don't mind. After when I first started, let's just get this. When I first started, remember this is
To appliance repair.
right to appliance repair. Yes, sir.
And if y'all watching this, to appliance repair too.
Remember this is back 2006, 2007. So what you're making now is going to be definitely different from back then. So back then I was making $350 a week.
In 2007.
But I took the pay cut because
Cash.
cash.
Mhm.
And I think I've said this in my video, so I don't mind saying it. For the whole time I worked for him,
Remember that the IRS watched it. So, and if the IRS is watching this, make sure you please hit the subscribe button and like. And if y'all need promotional purposes, please contact us at tmm.appliancerepair@gmail.com. So before you say something that,
right.
continue.
I 1099 myself as well. But
Good.
anyway, didn't do any W-2s. I got all my money every week. So that was one thing. So yeah, $350 was the beginning point I was making. And back then, I was young, married, had my own place, and my rent was maybe $800. So I can afford. I was fine making that, paying my rent, and she was working, so we were good.
Mhm.
So, but I was learning. That was the main thing. I was learning, and so eventually, I want to say, a year I went up. Then every year I went up a good amount. Not like he was a fair guy, so I want to say I would go to $400 a week, then I go to $450 a week, then I go to $500 a week. So it kind of went up in increments like that until I
Damn,
capped
that's
out.
not too shabby. Though.
Right, So I mean, he had to. I mean, I feel like at some point where I was doing more work than the other technicians because I wanted to work on, like, for instance, when I was there, not a lot of the guys like to work on dishwashers. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna work on dishwashers.
Yeah.
I'm doing front load, changing the drum tubs. I was doing that,
Front load, changing the drum tubs.
the tubs. I was doing that.
Like breaking the outer shell
Right,
apart
right,
and
right.
doing the inner shell, and the
Right,
bearings and all
right,
that.
right.
Ooh.
So
That's like 2-3 hour job.
Right. So, but it would make him see, and that's the thing. It would make him a lot of money, and he would only. And that's the thing I tell people on my other page is that he.
And what's your other page?
Mike Check Appliance.
Check it out.
That
He would tell the other people.
Yeah, I would only do warranty work.
No. You was busting the tubs open in
Right,
half.
right. And
You was the only one doing it. You was bringing him a lot of money.
And so from there on, he had to pretty much pay me what I was deserved.
What you was worth, right.
So, and that's one thing you stress too, getting paid what you're worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I made sure. There's never one time I went to him and said, "Look, I need more money." I never. He would always. And going back to I had a conversation with another guy about this. Goes into the same thing about hiring people and paying them certain amounts. Me and him had a relationship where even if I wanted to do side work, and I needed to get parts, I would use it under his account, give him a certain amount for it, and he would be fine with it. Let me do work on the side. He didn't do much COD. That's why he did Lowe's warranty. He did Home Depot. Then he was doing first year, so he was pretty much overbooked with warranty work. So.
And you only had 3 techs?
At that time, yeah.
How many calls were you running?
A day, maybe 7, 8 calls a day. And then when we lost a lot of techs.
What was your typical work day like? Sorry to interrupt.
No.
I'm just saying all this for the viewers. You know what I'm saying? There's interest in like
8 to 5 usually.
Oh, that's not too shabby.
Yeah, 8 to 5.
You know what Sears is doing, right?
What?
Like 8 to 8.
Yeah. I used to talk
They
to
got to
them
do
guys.
like 12 a day
Yeah.
and sell products and all that.
Nah, but when you're a small company, it's different from.
Amen.
From Sears.
Yeah,
you know,
amen.
If you got one guy who owns the business, he's got 3 techs. You know what
I don't know anything.
And that's one thing
I'm
that
under
he
the
never
radar.
he never hid from me. He never hid. He gave me the game. Every job like we did under warranty, I knew how much we were making, and that's why I said I never was the type to say, "Hey, I need this much money. Hey, I need that much money." I'm like, when you working for somebody and it's a small business, hopefully you can look out for that guy. And if he wants you to win, you want him to win. Y'all got that. That's why I stayed working for him for so long. I probably could have been left and started my own business, but I cherished our relationship so much and helping him out. And I even thought of buying into his company and taking over, but it came to a point where it's like, I can't wait that long. I got to do something now. And that's when I started my own. And it's like once you see that money, you can never go back to working for somebody. It's just.
I had a friend of mine. He's actually my brother. His name is Levert. He calls.
Shout out, brother Levert.
Shout out, brother Levert in Minnesota. My brother told me. He said, "Hey, I am unhireable." I said to him, "You unhireable? What you mean, brother? Obviously, us appliance repair technicians. We know electronics, a little bit of electric. How are you unhireable?"
Right.
You know what he told me? He said, "Man, after I done seen all this money and after I done did all the, I can't see myself ever working for somebody again."
Right.
But bro, I'm not one, as much as I champion the appliance repair industry, I don't champion ownership though. And I've never have. For years. If you go back to like the beginning when I said working for others or work, and you know why, bro? And this is no shot to nobody, bro, because I have even family, I have friends, I even have some people that work for me that watching this channel. So I'm not saying this to nobody. I'm just saying that like what I've learned over the years of doing this is that you got 2 types of humans, bro. This is a fact. You got humans that'll come home, and when they come home, they'll crawl in their living room and eat their food, watch the Netflix, and they'll know what's the deal with what's that show, Thunders and Cats, the one that's the one that's all over the place now. That the last season they said was garbage. Game of Thrones,
right.
You got dudes that go home and do the they'll tell you the this and
I haven't
the
even watched it yet.
you got guys that want to go home and they really want to disconnect. And that's what I tell people, man. When you get into this ownership wave, when them parts your tech puts into the notes, hey, he needs the bimetal, hey, he needs a heater, who's doing the looking up for all of those parts? When you got multiple CODs, every time that you call them and collect the number, write it down. Oh, it's a 5 instead of a 4. Oh, okay, and then that takes time. You cannot do everything at all times.
Right.
So this is the thing. The guy that likes to come home and disconnect, or simply can't put in 15, 16-hour work days, it ain't for you, man.
Nope.
And that's my only thing.
Right.
And bro, if that's the case, what I tell people is that the tech wave is the lane to go.
Right.
Why? Because you make good money as is.
Mm-hmm.
Cause think about it, the appliance repair tech that not only has good customer service skills,
Right.
good actual repair skills,
Mm-hmm.
punctual, good team player.
Right.
If that dude asks for $30 realistically, I think he'll get that, bro.
Right.
He'll get it with me because I know with him, like, man, I'm gonna win.
Right. Right.
And this is the thing about those guys. If they really like, if it's like a money thing, they're gonna make money, but they have the skill too. So like on the side, they wanna flip an appliance. They wanna take a washing machine and strip it and gut it out and sell the parts online, or they wanna run a private call for their baseball league or their church or whatever they organization they from. You're never gonna be hungry.
Right.
And that was my soul. That's my soul thing as far as like this ownership versus tech wave. And again, I never want to give people fake expectations.
All right.
I never want to be that guy like, go do appliance repair, 100K a year.
No. What I will say to that is, I did it, and I was just talking to somebody about this today. They said the recession, and I'm like, when I was working for somebody, I didn't know what a recession was. I never was broke. I was getting, if anything, I was getting more money those times. So, to the people that think you just need to go start your own business, it's like, you don't want the headache. And I might,
you may not be cut for that call.
Right.
That's a lot of work, bro.
You really got to be ready to do that. Like I said, earlier, I could have probably left that guy earlier, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't mentally ready. You have to be mentally ready to do this, because it's not only, okay, I'm going to run this much jobs a day or that much jobs a day. You have more things you have to look, parts account, making sure if you can't get this part here, you have to get this part here. You might have to pay more for this part. There's certain things now it's your reputation. It's not somebody else's reputation. So you have to make sure every customer, every call counts in some type of form of fashion. I mean,
bro, can I paint a scenario for you and tell me if I'm lying?
Mm-hmm.
And give me a thumbs up if this has happened to you. You do a major job, or any job for that matter. But let's say for a refrigerator.
Right.
Because one thing about refrigerators, I consider them like high priority appliances. Like if you got a dishwasher and it's a recall, I'm going to come back to you.
Right.
100%. But I'm not going to break my back.
Refrigerators next morning.
But refrigerator
next day for
is
sure.
a definite. Now, let's say it's a Tuesday going into Wednesday. But that Tuesday, it was defrost. No, because the problem won't appear so fast. Let's say it's no cool situation. And let's say the problem is the relay. You come and you change the relay. You collect your money. You go on about your business.
Right.
And in the back of your mind, that's a home run. Knock
done.
that right out of the park.
Right.
But then you're such a good an appliance repair technician that that same day, you keep getting calls. Hey, so you start booking out the next day, which is Wednesday.
Right.
You got your 8 to 10, your 10 to 12,
Right.
your 12 to 2,
Right.
your 2 to 4, and your 4 to 6. Your day is booked, airtight. And at about 7:39 p.m., give me a thumbs up if this story's happened to you. About 7:39 p.m., you get that call. I don't know, but you was out here and it worked for a little bit, but now it stopped working. I'm losing all my food. I don't know what to do. You told me that it would be well, and you're like, what the? I'll be out there first thing in the morning.
Right. This happened to me this week. And the next day, It was so bad that I had 9 calls that next day.
Oh man.
Luckily, and I made a video about this. Luckily, Jupiter, one small area in Palm Beach, I had 5 calls in that one
Is that
area.
where you from?
No, no, just
Is that your
Boynton
work
Beach.
area? Boynton Beach. Okay.
But I do the whole Palm Beach County, so from Boca to Jupiter.
The
So-
best appliance repair technician from Boca to Jupiter.
And yeah.
Mic check appliance.
Nice.
Again, don't judge us. This is tech shop talk,
We
off
chillin'.
the clock text that talk tech talk. But for the best appliance repair in the Boca to Jupiter
Jupiter area.
area, please
Palm Beach County, Mic Check Appliance.
mic check appliance.
Yes. So yeah. Where were we at again?
It was 9. It was you had
Yeah,
9
9 jobs. So
yeah.
I had to fit that job in. Now they were understanding to where I had to. It wasn't first thing, but around noonish, because I had to come back down from that area I was in, on my way to the next area of the other set of jobs I had to do. So, but I had to. It was they called 7 something that night. I don't mean to be so like specific, but
That's
when we
normally the time. 7 something.
it was like 7:40 something, and I seen, my wife checked the voicemail. She's like, "Oh, add him on tomorrow." I'm like, "Yeah." So same type of situation. I put a relay on, but come to find out, I guess the fan stopped working. So got there. Fan didn't really stop working, but it just I don't know what happens. For some strange reason, the fan stuck to the base of the plate of the motor, so it just couldn't turn freely as it wanted to. So it was getting cold, but it wasn't getting cold. 'Cause
Absolutely.
compressor was coming on, Freon was flowing, but they were just like, oh, it's not getting cold. It feels cold, but it's not getting cold. So went there, took it apart, just took the plastic fans that go in the shaft of the blade. So I just pulled it out a little bit, fans turning freely, and I'm gone. So it wasn't like I was there. But you got to do that. Refrigerators, you have to that's. I tell people all the time. That's the first. You don't have to wash dishes. You don't have to wash clothes, but you got to eat every day. So that's the main thing that I put priority for my company. And I tell people, you do good by people. That's how you get good business. But yeah, like I said, that scenario happened to me this week, and you have to adjust. And I was tired after that day. And for those who, shout out to those who do only COD calls, but I unfortunately do warranty calls as well.
Me too.
Paperwork.
Oh.
And if you want to get paid, you have to submit those. I'm not waiting another day to submit those claims if I did it that day. So
Talk about what a typical day owner, a business owner day would be like. While I get a lighter.
yeah.
Remember the microphone.
Gotcha. Pretty much, the best thing I can say is waking up. Luckily, I have help from my wife, so. But let's just say you're starting your own business. You don't have help from anybody. Making your schedule and making your schedule to the point where it's efficient for your route. If you're going from here to there that's not efficient. You're gonna use more gas. It's not gonna work out. So make sure that you study your area, your work area. Know, like, all right, if I'm going to this job, I know this one is only that much away from there, so I'm heading to. So I pretty much, sometimes I can say if this is my starting point, I might go north, come back around. It might be a little west to east. So I pretty much am efficient with my route to know where I'm going. So that's the first thing I have to do. Second thing I have to do is to make sure any parts that I need for any jobs that I have to go pick up from the parts store, or I usually, if I get parts shipped to my house, I already have them checked in and on the van, so I know this job is for this job. So that's usually done. But sometimes I have to go to the parts house and pick up parts. So you have to make sure that you incorporate that stop in your route as well. So if I know I have a job that's from 12 to 3, but the part is at there, I'll go to my area first, and then I might hit the parts store and go get the part for the job. Third, after that, would be making sure I have because this happened to you plenty of times, making sure I have enough invoices, cards. Make sure you just are stocked up in your van to know what you got to do for the day. Because there'll be times when you get out there and I'm like, my last invoice and I forgot to get some. That's for those who still use paper invoices. A lot of guys I know use email and Joyce and certain apps like that. But for me, that's what I do. But business cards as well. You want to make sure you have your business cards. So it's just certain things you have to keep in mind, because if you're working for somebody, you don't care about those things, because especially if you're not taking the van home, those things are usually in your van. I can remember when I started, he gave me tools. Eventually, I got my own tools, but so certain things you got to keep in mind. So the next thing, making sure you gas up, and like I always say, for me, is usually $20 a day, and that's every day. So you incorporate that as an expense. When I tell people that, like, $20 a day, I'm like, but when you're doing a certain amount of calls, you have to do that. Sometimes it might be 25 if I'm doing a lot. So making sure you gas up, and then calling. Sometimes I'll call my first 3 customers, because if I have an idea of what the job is, if it's an install, my time management is key. It's more important when you're owning your own business than it is when you're working for somebody, because you just want to feel like you finish up or you're done and that's it for the day. No, when you're your own business, you have to make sure time management is key, because you don't want to get home too late, because you have to incorporate 2 to 3 hours just to paperwork after that. So when I say my average might be 6 to 8 calls a day, it's because if I run any more than that, it's going to be a long day for me. So, and I know for me doing 6 to 8 calls, I can make a good amount that week. But certain weeks, and I was just telling somebody else about this, matter of fact, my brother, the good thing about appliance repair is you can dictate what you make sometimes. So if I know I got to grind out a week and I need to do 9, 10 calls and then still incorporate that extra maybe 2 to 3 to 4 hours of paperwork, then I have to do that. But if I want to go on a trip or do something nice, I can do that, without hurting anything, because it's just like but like everybody can't be in that position, because it's not all sweet. There's headaches when it comes to that, especially when parts don't come in when they need to. Parts come in defective. You got to get that part and wait to send that part back to get your money back. It's like you have to have money put up to do this stuff. So I tell people up front, and I've said this in my videos, I'm sure you guys know, because certain people get a mindset of, if I get with a warranty company, they're going to send me parts. Not every warranty company is going to send you parts. Don't have that mindset, because if you think that and get with a warranty company and expect them to send you a part, it doesn't work like that. So if you don't have money put up to get parts and then wait for that money to come in, it's not, you're going to fail really, really fast. And you don't want to, and you can't, I don't know how it is for other places, but my parts house that I usually go to, you can't just go get an account on credit. You have to start on cash.
Because they don't know you like that.
Right. So, I had to be on cash for 6 months before they even gave me a credit line.
Once they start seeing you a regular.
Luckily, I was a regular for over 10 years, so they knew me already. So they were just like, okay, Mike, we got you. So 6 months and blah, blah, blah. So once they see me and they knew how much I was making or how much I was spending every month, that's what made them give me a credit line. And then now I got the credit line. They see I'm paying it on. They gave me extended credit line. So you have to manage this thing properly. If you don't, you're gonna fail really fast. And I was just telling Brother B over here, one of his videos that he had on his channel as well. Make sure you check that video out on finances if you are gonna start a business, because when you go from making a certain amount to making, I'm not gonna say how much, but a lot more, it's like you might lose your mind, and then you might make your business fail. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you properly put things in place.
I suffer from that. I suffer from that. Well, go ahead though. You want to make sure you put things in place.
Right.
I don't want to interrupt you.
But me being young still, I'm still learning. I don't know everything, and I like nice things too. But I try to keep it, because knowing coming from an employee so long, you have that fear of failing. When you don't have that fear of failing, sometimes you might not take certain risks. But that fear of failing, I'm like, I didn't want to take certain risks. But now it's like, after my first year, I'm good. I know I'll never not eat in this doing appliance repair. But it came with a cost. It came with me 100% immersing myself into, just like you've heard it plenty of times. There wasn't anybody on YouTube years ago talking about appliance repair. Every video I've watched your video twice, just like more than multiple times, just because it's entertaining.
Thank you, bro.
Oh yeah,
that means the world to me, man.
Just certain things, and that's why I've said in my videos, probably a lot of people that are my subscribers probably came from your channel because they just wanted another different aspect of what appliance repair really is. Because I see a lot of people doing stuff about plumbing and electricity and
Can I get in?
Go
though?
ahead.
I know, brother.
Go ahead.
I know. Shout out
Go
to
ahead.
brother Wes Lawson, because you know he told me don't interrupt the people,
nah, you got to.
but I got to. Shout out brother Wes Lawson. Yo, why was I interrupting you? We was talking about the plumbers and all.
Right.
Okay, bro. Do you know that I remember like I was Google YouTubing,
Mhm.
and you know when you put like a title, like say you put fishing, one time, even if you do 30 other searches, like after that, they're gonna put like every fifth video one thing about fishing because it's in like your history.
Right.
So, like I remember like when I would put like contractor, tradesman, SEO, you know, stuff to learn the
Right.
appliance repair.
Right.
I would see HVAC, AC,
Mhm.
electrician, plumber, handyman.
Right.
I would see like all these guys giving their input about like how to run a service call, how to do this, how to do that. And I was like, damn. There was one or two channels though. I ain't going front. I'm not, you know, the OG.
Right.
There was definitely shout out to Appliance Samurai,
City
was-
Boys.
the big homie City Boys.
Right.
You know, it was a small niche.
See, there was how-to videos.
A lot of how to the
Not
appliance
about-
repair, appliance clinic,
Not
repair
until you
clinic.
and TK White, the appliance
TK
fixer guy.
Cousins.
Cousins, sorry.
Yeah, but shout out to TK White though.
My bad, man.
We love
But,
you, bro.
Cousins, right.
Yeah,
But-
Cousins disappeared, man. We gotta get him on here.
Right. I mean, at the same time, like I tell, you know, when people ask me about, you need to do this, do that, I'm just a humble guy showing my everyday appliance repair thing. I'm not trying to, you know, I'm just showing what it is, what the reality is, the ups and downs, the realness of it. Because,
But you are somebody though. Be very clear.
hey,
Don't let that. You are somebody.
So I try to tell people all the time, just if you want to get into anything that you want to do, immerse yourself into it because that's what will make you great. That's why I've been in business, you know, going on my third year because, you know, it's just that you will like you always say, the appliance repair industry will regulate itself.
It will police itself.
So police itself. So at the
Facts.
same time, if you don't do good, you will fail quickly. Even in my area, I see guys have multiple they'll change their names, and then people will say,
I see it all
this
the time.
is the same guy.
Yup. On the Yelp reviews.
Right,
Yup.
Yelp reviews. I even see going as far as where a lady posted the guy's mugshot, you know, and I went behind this guy on the job. And it's like, you don't
It's
wanna,
gonna come to the light, man. It's gonna come to the light, man.
And it's
We
like-
live in the information age, man. If you's a scumbag, it's gonna come to the light, man.
So that's why I'm never worried about, people always say it's their competition. Nah, it's never going to be an oversaturation in appliance repair because there's only going to be a couple people that can take this thing and run with it and really actually, because some people will hit that brick wall and you're either going to go through it or you're going to stop and then be like,
Bro, I'm sorry, man.
go ahead, man.
But I got.
Go ahead.
Listen, this is
Go ahead,
this
man.
is an industry of. It's a technical industry. It involves problem solving, customer service,
Mhm.
dexterity. How many side by? Shout out to me and you. I'm 170. You look like 160.
Yeah, I'm about that.
Yeah, 172.
Yeah.
Something. You,
Mhm.
me and you about the same size.
Right.
But think about the brothers. And shout out to the brother, because we not shooting no shots. We love peace and harmony. Nah, don't do the homies like that. But the homies, this like
I
you
got
know,
stories about that, though.
this on the heavy
I
side.
got stories,
What they
man.
doing in them side by sides when they gotta change that GE defrost element? You know that heat on the bottom, and you know you like listen, dexterity. It's a industry of customer service.
How many times have you heard, how'd you get behind there? How'd you get in there?
It's-
Behind the fridge.
You're gonna get dirty. How many times you do those lint dryers, the vents,
I was just telling people,
and you
have
got
a
your
lint
beard
roller.
all full of lint, your head full of lint. Like, what I'm saying is this, man. um, if it's available to whoever wants it, but just don't come in here thinking that it's sweet.
Yeah, it's not.
That's my thing.
It's not.
And that's why I say that it's not for everybody. Because
Right.
you got some people trying to chase a fast dollar.
Right.
This ain't it.
I-
But
I made a video like that.
if you willing to pay that price, what's the price? You know, studying, working on your soft people skills, learning like marketing, and like, you know, having the overall drive to generate your own income, which is scary.
Right.
A lot of people can't leave that comfort of 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90K to jump off into something that they don't know what it's gonna be.
Right.
That's a scary jump.
Right.
So, you know, I'm just one of them guys that, like, I'm not here to promote which one of the two to do. I'm here to promote the industry as a whole, as appliance repair.
Right.
For that, I'm gonna leave brothers like you, DC appliance boot camp, T Cousins, Samurai, all the OGs. I'm gonna leave that for y'all
Right.
to tell the people what to do. I'm just not comfortable enough to tell somebody something, because I don't want, when it fails, they call me like, eh. So again, I'm here to promote the industry of appliance repair, from a technician level to a self-starter level, and everything in between.
Hey, I get a lot of comments where people that follow my Instagram is like, man, you make it look like it's complex. It's like, one guy, I remember this comment, and if you're watching this, shout out to you. He said, man, I was about to go and get into the appliance boot camp, but after seeing a lot of your pictures, I'm like, I don't know. And I had to encourage him to say, once you know, this is years of experience. This is not just something I do overnight, because one thing you have to understand, this is like, I keep reiterating this, is like, you're not going to get into if you go to any school, and not to shout out to no school, especially TMM Academics.
Oh,
they
yeah,
have a good program.
and every other school.
You need some form of basis to go to school.
Facts. That's all we preaching.
Right. You need a base. But
Facts.
at the same time, it's on you to take that base and want to expound and learn on it. I can't, you know, my boss only taught me so much. I had to go out there on my own and see things, and if I didn't want to learn and
Amen.
I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Facts.
So at the same time, you need to have some type of base where you can start. So my whole thing is like, I don't think I'm promoting business owner or tech. I'm just saying, hey, this is what it is. I've had a video where I said I wish everybody could work for somebody at least 2 to 5 years to get that experience, because the customer skills, not everybody is built to start COD and just go there and do that, because you might be learning at the same time and you make mistakes at the same time. And that's why I said I got lucky, because I made mistakes on warranty calls, and luckily you can rely on the warranty company to pay for some of those mistakes. But when your COD calls, you have to pay for those mistakes, and if you don't have that revenue to pay for those mistakes, you're going to go out of business. So, you know, I don't want to promote to just go into business and start and just do what you know. Once you get that basis of learning like you get from any school,
then
you go out there and you, I run into things from 20 years old to 1 year old. And it's like, no school can give you all that information at one period of time. So you have to have a general idea how a dryer works, how a washer works, and then you take that knowledge and, you know, and if all else fails, you find that tech sheet and you know, find the tech sheet.
No. And to expound on my brother, that's the first thing you do.
First thing, right.
You go and you find that tech sheet.
Right.
You go to the. May I give
Go
a
ahead.
little speech?
Go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah, go
Brother Wes Lawson, you ain't gonna shoot me. Shout out to my brother. Now every time I talk, I think about his voice in my head. What was we saying? Oh yeah, the first thing you want to do. Let's go with that dryer.
Okay.
Can I get on my technical?
Go ahead.
I've been wanting to shine, man,
Go
because
ahead.
you know I don't really talk technical.
You know what it is, that when you have the experience, you think off the experience first. You know, if we go to a dryer and say it's not heating,
I want you to give me a scenario of a call.
Okay.
Make it up right off the cusp.
I'll give a call today. Actually. All right. So I get there.
Mm-mm. Tell me what the nature of the
Oh,
call
okay.
is,
All right. The
and I'm
call
gonna
is
tell you how I'm gonna address it.
All right. This is see, the warranty company sends me the call. I don't get any model number, and I don't get any. No, I just get a Kenmore fridge leaking water. That's it. That's all I know. So I don't know what type of Kenmore it is. Mind you, if you know what a Kenmore is,
It could be anything. It could be GE, LG, Samsung,
luckily
whatever.
it was a Whirlpool side by side.
106 decimal.
So when you think of
May I run?
well, let me ask you
Okay,
a
go
question.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
When I just said that a Kenmore side, I didn't know it was a side by side, but a Kenmore leaking water.
Mm-hmm.
What would you first expect from that? Being a seasoned veteran.
God. I'm thinking three things, and I'm gonna put them in the order of probability.
Okay.
Defrost drain clogged. Water hose with a small little pinhole that I'm cutting that and putting that quick disconnect. Or my water valve leaking, or my filter head leaking.
Well, number one. It was number one.
The defrost drain? Oh, love that job.
And if you follow me on my Instagram, you'll see why that.
And what's your Instagram?
Mike Check Appliance.
For all my followers, please go follow my brother, Mike Check Appliance.
And actually, this job was, in particular, prior companies, as you know, a side by side, it's got the grill to see through, so you can see if where it's leaking. It's clearly leaking from the drain, but they cut it out. So they cut out a piece of the grill.
Cover of the
grill.
evaporator cover.
Right, the
little slits.
Yeah, they cut it out.
Yeah,
I put this on Instagram. You guys saw it. So
that's not too shabby though.
I mean, hey,
it's a quick way to go.
I didn't have to take anything out of the freezer. So, but anyway, what was causing the clog was it's the one with the plastic tube and that.
The S-bend.
Right.
Yes.
So it was clogged up.
Okay.
Easy job.
Yeah.
But like you said, when I saw that claim come in, Kenmore leaking, that's the first thing I thought. All right, it's a drain clog. Knowing certain warranty companies you work for, I tend to see older things with this warranty company because usually somebody buying a house is old stuff in it. So I'm like, all right, it's not a new Kenmore. It's not a Kenmore LG. I'm not thinking about that one. I'm like some type of side by side or top mount or whatever. So I get there, it's exactly what it is. So, and this is I'll tell you exactly how this call went too, because.
But remember, I was supposed to be put on the spot, OG.
Oh right.
You overtook my little.
But I answered
okay,
you.
okay.
You got.
No,
you
but
got
I
it
want to
right.
give the customer, the viewers, because remember we was talking about troubleshooting.
Right.
And I want to give the customers a thing about troubleshooting.
Right.
Like we was talking about all the different appliance academic programs that's available.
Right.
And how you was like, if you're gonna go enter into a situation,
Right.
at a minimum,
Okay.
you gotta know like the theory, how things operate,
Right.
parameters, specifications.
Right.
And then I was like, OG, do me a favor. Create a scenario, and I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna suggest it.
Right.
And then you said, "Oh, this is what happened." You
Right.
went into the Kenmore leaking,
Right.
but I still ain't get a chance to
You
get.
said the first thing you said was a defrost drain.
Yeah,
You were right.
yeah.
So you were right about
Okay,
that. That's
but I
what it
wanted
is.
something more difficult, man.
Ah,
That's
man,
too
that's an
easy,
easy
man.
job.
Yeah,
Okay,
man. Give me like a dry and not heating or something, or
okay.
oven,
All right, I did an LG
dishwasher,
dryer on Friday.
whatever.
I did an LG
Humbly.
dryer yesterday. And
LG dryer.
mind
Okay.
you, this customer too was already
You know,
sour.
this a custom. You know, it's a viewer right now that don't got our level of experience.
So it's
they
hard
listen.
to talk.
They
like,
listen. They got an LG dryer
Right.
coming up,
Right.
and he's like, "Damn, get that question off, brother Mike."
Okay.
But remember, he don't know as much as
Right.
a more seasoned vet.
Right.
So
Shout out to this call too because
shout out to this call.
it reminded me of one.
What
of
we got
this
with
is
this
this is
call,
the
man? I'm
DIYer call.
Oh, DIY,
So,
man.
but it was a warranty call.
Jesus.
So a DIYer is not going to do anything on a warranty call. But when I saw the claim, when I'm headed to the job and I'm calling him, my wife put next to it, please change sensor and heating element if possible.
Your wife answers your calls?
Yeah, she does my calls.
Y'all some lucky gentlemen.
Man, you
All
know
the wild shout out to my brother Mario watching this too. From Polar Bear Appliance in the Maryland
Yeah, it's
area,
my
right?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, Maryland. The
Right.
best appliance repair, Polar Bear Appliance.
Right.
his wife helps him, your wife helps you. That must be invaluable, man.
You know how much money I made just this year alone since she started? She started with me January 1st this year. Already. I can't tell you how much. But anyway,
Man,
back to so my wife puts down.
shout out to all the appliance repair wives and all the CSMs, all the females or males who answer the calls. Y'all the real MVPs because everything flows through y'all. When the customer calls, you front line, you know. So, the special salute
Not
to
to
you guys.
sidetrack it, but that's the reason why I can do those 9, 10 calls.
Route efficiency, customer service, being able to reschedule.
She makes my schedule and she sees the map.
What's her name? Shout her out.
Shout out to Jade. Love
Jade,
you,
we love you, Jade. Now we put their names out there,
Right,
man.
right,
They
right.
deserve it, man.
Right. So back to what we were saying. The call had change thermostat and heating element if possible. So I'm already thinking, all right, this guy thinks he knows what he's talking about with his dryer. It's not heated.
Okay.
This is an LG front loading style. It's red, looks nice on the pedestal.
But can I tell you what I would have did?
What you
You
would've did?
still ain't
Oh,
give
my
me
bad. Go
chance.
ahead. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
All right. Nah, man, because I never get technical.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So here's what I would have did. First thing is, we're dealing with what? An LG Naheem?
Right.
Okay. Number one, I would hope that every technician carries an infrared gun,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
First thing I would do is, I would obviously start the unit. I would see, before I do anything, I would see where they have it set. Because Lord knows the amount of times that I've done a not heating dryer and they had it on air fluff.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, no wonder.
Mhm.
So I would look at what we got. And LG got a setting like that. There's no heat.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know what their technical term is because they all got like different names for it, but they definitely got something like that.
Right.
So I would see what it's on. After that, I'm gonna start the unit,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna put my finger on the door switch, and that IR gun, I'm gonna put it back there, and I'm gonna see what kind of temps I'm getting.
Right.
And if I see it at room temp and it's not going higher or lower, I know I got a serious problem. Next thing I would do is I probably would go to the back of the unit and I'm checking voltage income right off the back, because I can't tell you the amount of electric dryers that I see that from L1 to neutral you'll get like 120, and then from neutral to L2 you'll get 0, or you'll get like 120 but like not 240, something weird. And
Being
this
a rookie, I've made a rookie mistake and tore down a whole dryer, checking every sensor, every component.
that's happened to me too, man.
That's how I learned.
To me too, man.
And I'm like, damn,
Amen.
all I had to do was check the power.
Amen.
I'm like,
Amen. But if
man.
you were to follow suit with what the Bible says,
Right.
you know, verify incoming voltage. You know, always verify incoming voltage. You know how we beat ourselves as technicians when we try to get fancy,
right.
or we try to, you know, get cute or cut corners.
And
That
stick
always
to the
bites.
basics.
Now stick to the script. That always bites us in the ass. Pardon the language. But with that said, I'm checking that I'm verifying my you know, incoming voltage.
Mhm.
After I got that, the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna open up nothing. The first, if anything, I'm opening up, it's just the cover, the top cover, because I want access to that board. And the first thing I'm doing from that board is I'm gonna look. Okay, here's my board, and here's my schematic. And my schematic, the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to that heater element
Mhm.
or igniter, if it's gas or whatever.
Right.
And I'm looking like, okay, that's like, what's the problem?
Right.
That's the area of concern.
Right.
What's in that circuit? What does that circuit entail? And most checks, not all, but a large majority could be done from the board.
Right.
Because if you disconnect one Molex and you put one voltmeter here and the other one here, you know, you can trace out whole circuits
Mhm.
and get a lot of work done clean and efficiently for time. You know, going back to your thing about time.
Right.
So, you know, like, that's the route I would have went. Now, once I discover my culprit, hopefully I could do it from the board. I'll just quote the customer. But that's like all the steps I would take. But let me go even a little bit further. Okay, so I had to open it up. Cause you know that heater circuit has things in series.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get an open, you can't say it's the heater. It may be a high limit.
Right.
It may be an igniter. It may be a over. You don't know what is going on.
Right.
Now you gotta get in there.
Right.
But then even when I'm doing my test, I'm disconnecting one lead from the component,
Right.
and I'm doing my test.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My continuity test.
Business.
If I gotta check verify voltage coming in, I'm bypassing the door switch. I'm being safe. You know.
Yeah. Right.
But I never talk technical, man.
Right.
So it felt good to say that.
I
I said
mean-
no. You know, we about to launch TMM Academics.
I
I
guess
gotta
for
give-
the people that
I gotta
know,
give the customers.
for
you
the
know,
people that know you, I know that he's already technical. So it's like, you know, sometimes you just forget
I
that.
gotta plug TMM Academics.
Right,
Man. I gotta
right.
let the people know that you know what if they subscribe to my program, they gonna
I'm
learn the
subscribed.
right way.
I've watched those videos with Rick. Oh yeah, I've watched all of them. So,
Shout out to brother Rick, man.
right, you gotta watch. I mean, you gotta keep up with everything. You gotta
Word.
sharpen. You know, keep.
Hey, I
sharp.
learned stuff from you too, man. You put up a lot of stuff about them Samsungs and them ice makers, in
Oh
particular.
yeah. Cause working for.
You sent me them.
Oh yeah.
You sent me a PDF to save my life. It was in regards to the ice maker freezing up. I didn't have access to that, but I guess one of your warranty companies sent you the PDF,
Right.
and you was able to throw me a alley oop.
Mhm, right, because
Thank you, brother.
Oh, no problem.
Thank
We
you,
gotta
man.
help each other. That's the
That's
thing.
what it's about, karma.
The people think that it's competition. We
Nah,
can't
hell
help each
no.
other. It's too many people out here. I will never see him. He'll never
Nah,
see me.
that's a fact. Well, that's not true because
But
look at us
wait.
now.
But as far as that doesn't even matter. I don't even see the company I used to work for. You know, I rarely see them. I might see them here and shout them out, but rare. You know,
Bro,
so.
I make money with my competitors. You know, sometimes when I get slow, you know what I'll do? I'll call my competitors and tell them like, yo, bro, we could work out like a plan, like, you know, 70-30 or something. Like, send
Right.
me your overflow.
Right.
Rather than tell them you book,
Right.
send me your overflow.
Right.
And I'll give you like 30% and I'll
Right.
take 70.
Right.
Because rather than you throw it away, you're going to get I did a Sub-Zero today. I ain't going to say no numbers, but hypothetically, allegedly, let's say that the call was $818.
Right.
$100 went to parts. Shout out to Subco. Subco, if you listen, then please contact us at tmm.appliancerepair@gmail.com for advertising and log into Mike Check. Appliance
Right.
on
'Cause
YouTube.
You guys saved me a lot of money as well. Thank
Yup.
you.
So it was a 70-30. My man made something like 208 just for saying, hey, I got a call that I can't get to. Can you do it for me?
Oh, they said they don't
And I allegedly walked away with a small coin for and something, you know, but
yeah.
remember, you know, so it's you can make money with your competitors.
Right.
You build a good
Right.
rapport with these guys in the par house.
Right.
I go in there and I see my competitors. Hey, what up, man? How you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, what's good? Hey, you do LG? No, I don't do LG. I hate that. Hey, I'll give you all my LG. Damn, that's what's up, man. I'll give you all my Fisher Paykel.
Right.
You
And
know?
one thing I will say, if I haven't said before, is that never talk down on your fellow appliance repair
That's a
guys.
sin.
You don't never do that,
Nah.
because I don't care if I come behind somebody and like, oh God, what's the name of the
Don't
company?
shit
Okay.
on them.
You never,
Nah.
never.
Nah.
Never.
Because you could be on the opposite end of that. And how would you like it if they shit on you like
Right.
that?
That's one thing, and I didn't know that. I got taught that. Somebody
too.
taught me
Don't
that.
worry.
So.
Karma taught me that. My own technician taught me that. Can I give a speech?
Go ahead.
Shout out to
chillin',
TMM
man.
San Diego, TMM Appliance Repair San Diego, Enrique Lopez.
Shout out Enrique. What's up,
Yup,
man?
Kicks, what's good? See, this thing of ours is a global network. We're all
Yeah,
over the place.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with all
You
that
put it together. Shout out for putting this all together too.
Amen, brother. I do my thing, and shout out to all y'all for being along with the ride. But I did a Samsung defrost drain.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the fresh food compartment. I must have been out there 3 times, man. I put the kit in. I cut the duck bills in the bottom. Like, I put the long clip, a hang. I did everything to this thing. And I kept getting a recall. Ultimately, we went with the whole cover.
Oh, right. Evaporator cover.
Cover.
Mm-hmm.
But my tech goes out there. Like 2 years after, I sold them the business.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I don't know what kind of shitbag tech this was. This guy was an idiot. I don't know why you had this guy. And they were like, well, we have the invoice here. And it was me.
Oh, man.
And I told him, like, yo, bro, do you know why it was broke?
man.
Do you know why the screws... Bro, we took that cover off so many times.
Right.
And when, you know, it freezes over, you got to be delicate.
I've been,
and you're scared. And you don't want to break the styrofoam. But accidents happen.
Right.
But it froze over so many times. And it was due to that. And that was before, you know, people were really hip to, if you had those Samsungs, replace those covers.
Right.
We were still trying to, like, dethor it with, you know.
I've been there.
We had the simple remedies.
Right.
These Samsungs didn't start becoming a problem after we started seeing the frequency of it.
Right.
Then kits came out.
Right.
Then, replace the cover. Replace the thermistor. But in the beginning, defrost drain, steam. You out the door. But we took the cover off. Well, long story short, going back to your story, you never want to talk bad about your fellow appliance repairmen. Although I don't know if I could stomach PCMs though.
Right.
You know, and shout out to the PCMs out there in the world, man. But
and I made a couple. The last couple video I made was about a guy who just kept throwing parts. It was another situation. A dryer, Whirlpool dryer. You know, the Cabrio.
We don't
style.
condone that here.
Cabrio style a dryer.
Yeah, pardon me.
He pretty much customer complaint.
Yeah.
Dryer starts, 20-30 seconds, stops. Starts, 20-30 seconds, stops.
Okay.
That's the diagnosis. So, and this is why I made this video, because I wanted to stress, don't let a customer's complaint and something else what somebody else did take you off of your diagnosis. Because plenty of times you'll go to where, he changed this sensor, he changed this sensor.
Amen, brother.
He pulled this code from the dryer. So I'm just thinking about what he did, not going to my initial, okay, if I first walked in here, what would I go to first? So initially, and to add to that, if you didn't watch that video, the whole thing was apart when I got there. Luckily, I've worked on this dryer so many times, I know how to put it back together, so it wasn't that bad. But, he pulled F25 from the dryer, which meant exhaust thermistor. So I'm like, in my mind, that still wouldn't make the dryer start and cut off that early. But, you know, I go, like you say, I went to the tech sheet.
Put it in diagnostic mode.
Right.
Retrieve all error
all
codes.
The codes. And I got F23.
And you build a general scheme, because you may get F23, F21, F20 this.
Right.
But you start reading it and you start seeing like a overall failure in one particular area. And that's why your theory is so important.
Right.
Because you know, like, okay, that's got to do with the exhaust.
Right.
I may have a restriction.
Right.
My blower wheel may be messed up.
Right.
The bat thermistor. Something.
Right.
Exhaust-wise.
Right.
But that's why you got to know your theory.
Right. So, I pull the code. Okay, I'm getting a different code from what he's even talking about. So, I go back. I see he changed parts, because these are brand new. You know, he changed the thermal fuse, and then he changed the exhaust thermistor. But why I say don't take this off your diagnostic, because now that I go back to the initial call, and when you run so many calls in a day, you get pattern recognition a lot, especially with dryers and washers. You know, I can't say refrigerators and ovens, but dryers and washers, you get a lot of pattern, especially if it's older
you get them
style.
in fridges too.
Yeah, that too. You do get them in fridges.
It's those big Whirlpools, those 4 doors. I don't even check the board or anything. When I see them frozen over, the ones that have those little gold thermistors, I change those right off the bat.
Right. So the dryer initially, now going back to what I was initially thinking, I had the tech sheet in my hand. I'm checking, I'm ohming out everything. Everything is checking good, no problem. So he changed everything. It's brand new. So I'm like, I just had a call 2 weeks ago with the same issue, and it's the centrifugal switch in the motor. So I told myself, why not think of that in the first place?
I had that happen to me, bro.
You know, and luckily sometimes you can get away with just putting the spring back on and it's fine, but the pin broke off, so you can't. So, and I don't condone this at all, but what I do for my customers, I temporarily get them going. So I extend the spring to the other side of the spring, so I basically can keep it together where it can still expand and
Jerry
contract.
right there, basically.
So, because basically he was talking so much junk about this other guy that came there. He said he came 3 times, spent 5 hours, put all these parts on, and he still didn't fix it. But I know you, man, because I fixed his fridge prior too,
Yeah.
and it was a GE side by side heating element went bad.
Oh,
So,
I love that job.
and this customer actually gave me, since I told him we got a good, he gave me a old school Knicks jersey. I mean, yeah, he gave me an old school Knicks jersey.
Shout out to the New York Knicks, man. We love you, but y'all gotta get better, man.
He's a New York fan, so when I went there, he's in his Yankees. He's like, Mike,
and the Yankees and the New York
I should have
Jets.
got you first, but the warranty company sent me this guy. He's like, I know you'll fix it. And, just a shot. He's an older white guy, but he's
Shout out
like,
to old white guys.
He's talking a lot of junk about this guy, and he pulled up in the Charger. So that's why I stress to people to look your best, be your best. He pulled because they look at these things.
Amen. From the time you step up, man, you're being judged.
They look at these
From
things.
the minute you walk through that drive-through, you're being judged.
Right. So if you don't perform the job, it makes you look even worse. So he's talking all this junk, and I'm like, well, I end up fixing it, and
Continue that story.
he's just like, oh man, I know you can do it. I know this, and that. But long story short, that guy came to the show with a volt tester, pretty much what you stick in the wall and see if you're getting power when the light kind of comes on. How can you check any type of component on a dryer with that? So I just don't understand that. He just started throwing parts at it. I don't condone that. I want people to actually look up the schematics, look up the tech sheets, do whatever you need to point you in the right direction. That's why I say the meter is probably one of the most important things you might need, because without that, I use that on everything. Every appliance I use my meter on. So that's a tool that you're going to use with everything. You might not use a screwdriver on every appliance. You might not use a flathead screwdriver. You might not use a wrench. But a multimeter you will use on every appliance. So, and make sure it's a good one. Make sure it's something that's calibrated properly, and have multiple to compare readings. Have multiple. I mean, once you get to that level, that's the level you want to be at, where you can put in certain work to make sure you're accurate. Because if you're off by certain ohms or off by certain voltage, it will make a big difference. And then sometimes, it'll be different from what the tech sheet actually tells you that's right. So, I mean, I've changed an exhaust motor where it'll tell you it's supposed to be read between this ohms. You get the new part, it reads completely different, but you install the new part and it works. And then you realize, okay, maybe this is where it's supposed to be at. They say it's in this range, but it's close to this range. But whatever it may be, you just have to know what you're talking about and what you're looking for, because you can't mess with people's money. I mean, you
Facts.
can't. I mean, you can't go out here taking money expecting that and then like you made a video about recalls. Recalls make a big deal. If you have a lot of recalls, you're not making a lot of money. So you have to minimize your recalls, and then the more
Facts.
jobs you work, the more recalls you will have.
Facts. It's just
So-
the law of the numbers.
Right. So I can't tell you. When I say sometimes I might have 3-4 recalls a week, but if I'm doing 8 to 9 jobs at calls a day,
That's to be
sometimes
expected.
it's like that. I mean, I'm not perfect. I mean, sometimes other things happen. It's usually because something else happens, or something's not working, and then it starts to work, and then something else is going on with it. I mean, it's happened so many times. And then sometimes it's completely unrelated, and people want to just be like, oh, it's within the 30 days, so can you, so
You know what I
that's-
do for that? I change the part, but I charge them the part, but I'm not charging them a labor.
Right.
Just because I know that it has nothing to do with it, but I understand customer psyche 101, and in their minds,
Right.
they think that when you fix one thing, it encompasses everything.
I don't add any.
So
labor
rather
either.
to
Yeah.
even go through that up and down
Mhm.
nonsense to keep the relationship copacetic and cool, I'll just pay for the part. I mean, they paying for the part and the retail with a markup.
That's what I'm
With
trying.
a
That's what I'm
markup.
trying to say.
The retail with a modest
Right.
15% markup.
Right.
And by the time I get it for my price and all that, I'm gonna make a small, generous, penny, but I'm making something.
That goes to the business owner aspect of it all. You have to understand that there's gonna be a markup with parts. That's
Facts.
just how it goes. And
There's a markup for us when our cars brakes go bad and we get it. We get charged it.
I mean, that's how it goes. I mean, so yeah, that's I've said that many times. I wouldn't charge people for labor. They already paid for a certain labor, and I'm still gonna get something on that part in that markup. So it's not like I'm not gonna make anything, and you add that to the total job. That's just how it goes. So yeah, back to what we were saying. You was talking about the part. We don't condone part changing monkeys. We don't pretty much people who don't take working looking up the schematics or just having the knowledge to work on something where we don't have to just go here to there to looking for something that we can just pinpoint, so that's just come to me. That comes with experience, because I feel like on my channel I tell guys to take it apart, because if you're new, you want that experience of taking it apart, because I can't tell you the efficiency of me taking something apart. That's how I can do 9 jobs in a day, because a lot of the times I'm completing that call, so I'm taking it apart. That's just how it goes. A lot of times if people paying to that service call, and I stress this on my last video, if they like you, you pretty much is sold. The job is done. So, and if you're doing warranty calls, you just want to, 9 times out of 10, those warranty calls become calls for COD customers who they know and who they know. You still doing the same type of thing. I'm not trying to come back, because I'm not trying to spend the gas to go back to that call. If I can fix it, I can fix it. That's why being a business owner, certain warranty companies have certain authorization limits. That's a whole other thing you have to think about when you're doing calls on your own. Everybody can't. You have to keep that in mind. You can't help everybody. And then certain times I've had calls where I fixed it and they didn't want to pay me the price I wanted for it. I had to eat that, because I'm not going to go back out there and take that off of somebody. I'm trying to help somebody because they didn't pay me what I wanted for the part. I'm just gonna eat it. I'm like, damn, I should have known better. But sometimes that's the price you pay sometimes. And you just want to limit those type of things. You want to stay in bounds of what you want to do. That's pretty much what I can attend to that. Yeah, it's not easy, man. It's not easy.
It's a new segment I'm starting in Shop Talk. I'm gonna say one word, and you say one word after whatever comes to mind. So, for example, I'm gonna say cat, and you say, mouse, whatever.
Right.
But I'm just gonna say a few random words and tell me what comes to your mind.
Okay.
Electronic.
Difficult. Or that's not. I get you. That's the first word that came to my mind, is difficult, because in my aspect of me working every day, I love when the easy jobs come. I love when it's just something I can pinpoint, or it's a pattern. I mean, I love that, but sometimes when it's on the slow days, I like when I have to get into my diagnostic thing, and but it's difficult still. It's still difficult sometimes, because just say, for instance, you have some tech sheets where they don't give you the actual what the part is. They say it could be this or this. Check this if it's in range of this. Certain things might be in range, and you might still have to go with either or. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's a difficult situation being a business owner when you don't want to spend money on parts you don't need. You know what I'm saying? If you're a technician working for somebody, you can say, when I was an employee, I didn't care about that. I cared about, all right, I'm gonna go with this part, and why that helped me personally, because if it worked, I knew. If I saw that pattern, that's what I would go for now, that's actually helped me out a lot. I worked on stuff so much and made my mistakes to know what is what, and I can go for that, and usually I'm right. So if you don't go through that, and I tell you, 9 times out of 10, it's experience that's what makes you make money in this industry. The more times you've seen certain things and know how to work on certain things, you look like a pro to that customer. I'm taking things apart, but man, you've done this so many times, huh? I'm like, yeah, pretty much. So, and because I'll tell you the worst thing, I don't mind customers looking over my back. The only time I do gets on my nerves, especially if it's something new I haven't worked on and I'm trying to figure it out. That's the only single time that really happens. Other than that, if they behind me and I know what I'm doing, you can watch, whatever, I know what's going on.
The most you ever made in one day?
$2,200.
If you like the content of this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Please support our merchandise, our PayPal, and please subscribe to Brother Mike Check. Them 2,200 in one day.
I was mind blown.
Shout out to Appliance Repair.
I was
I
mind
remember.
blown.
I remember a story real quick. Hey, we coming up on the 1 minute 15 mark. Normally, my special VIPs, I give them 130.
Right.
But I know you a VIP.
Appreciate that.
And I don't want to disrespect your time, but we getting close to that segment. I don't know what your schedule is like.
If you good, I'm good.
All right.
Okay.
We'll extend it for the viewers. I remember the first day I broke $1,000. I'm gonna give you a speech. I think it was like I did like a lid switch, a drain pump, an ice maker, and it was all like back-to-back calls, like quick. The parts were available. Like it was like I was in the zone, man, in the matrix. But I remember I got home that night like 9 o'clock at night though, and I remember I called the lady that I was with at that time, and I told her, "Mommy, get dressed. We going out to wherever you want to." Cause she was like, "Why you working so late? You was car." I said, "Mommy, I made $1,000 today." Allegedly. And she said, "Really? Oh my God, I can't believe it." And man, that's when I was like, man, but that's not the most I ever made in a day. But this is not about me, it's about you.
I have an idea. We talk outside of this, so I already have an idea of what he's made in a day. So
$2. What's the worst thing you hate about our industry? I don't want to paint people fairy tales. Like, give me something that you absolutely detest about appliance repair. I have like a few of them.
I have a few as well.
Talk about it.
Dealing with warranty companies, certain warranty companies, not all. Because unlike you, if you're a tech working for somebody, knowing what you're worth, warranty companies definitely don't know what you're worth. So it's not all peaches and cream. Just go out there and you get a warranty company. Maybe if you're new, you might think this is what you're worth, but nah, they don't pay you what you're worth. So that's one thing.
And especially like in situations, pardon me, but I'm gonna say something that you're gonna agree with. Especially in situations, warranty companies will slave you. Where like, say like the original problem is it's an ice maker, and you go and you change it, but within that 30 or 60 day window, whenever you're responsible for that recall responsibility, and let's say like it's a compressor failure or it's something way out of nothing you had to do with, oh, you're reading that.
Right.
You're reading that repair. Right. Even if you try to explain it to them like, nah, I didn't have nothing to do with that. No, you're reading it.
Right.
That's been my experience.
That's been my experience as well. I've been to where I've installed a part, and within 30 days, maybe 3 weeks later, it needed another part, but they decided to send it to buyout. Oh, they don't want to pay for the whole thing. So I'm responsible now to get my part back off the dishwasher because they're not paying for nothing. Oh, I got my deductible, yeah, but they're not going to pay for anything else.
And that's 2 jobs you did. The first to put it in, and then the second to take it out.
Right.
And you got paid for none of them.
Right.
At least you recuperated the part.
Right. But I also got a drain pump off it too. So hey. That's
well,
just how that goes.
Let me ask you this. As far as like the direction of appliance repair, most industries, they have like new trends or new technology that kind of like can replace a human or can outdate you, or you're replaceable in this thing of ours, appliance repair. Do you feel like we can ever be taken out by a human, or like you go to the Publix and you see the cashier, and the cashier, she's no longer there. It's a machine now.
Right.
And it provides you the gun and everything, and you scan your own items, put in your car. Do you think appliance repair will ever get to that point where we will have some sort of a major job security problem, or?
Nah, never. It's the appliance repair industry is too vast. It's not everybody has everything. Not everybody has everything within 5 years. Not everybody has everything within 10 years. Sometimes I go on calls it's 15 years old. That's just what it is. There's never you can't even if nah never. I can't ever see it happening. I can't even picture it being ever, even LG has the thing where customers can call you, put your phone up to it, and kind of diagnose what it is, but that still doesn't really, you still need a technician most of the time. So it's like, it doesn't work like that. I mean, you still have to have a physical person checking components, checking.
Every technician out there that's watching this has a story that they'll never forget. One service call that will stand out that they'll never forget. Do you have that one story that you'll never forget?
Yeah, I have good and bad ones.
Give me a good one.
A good one?
Yeah.
Uh, Man, I got
Like a shocker.
Oh, shocker. Oh,
Go ahead.
I was on. This is when I first started,
Okay.
and I was actually within that 2 weeks. I was riding with my boss, and we go out on a call, and this is on Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, Palm Beach Island. We go. It's a yacht call, refrigerator, Sub-Zero on a yacht.
Ooh.
Big yacht, big yacht.
Oh man, Lucy, I'm home.
And I'm
oh,
on the,
man.
and it's pretty much I don't know. I can't remember if it was leak. It had a leak. But it was a built-in on a yacht. I'm sitting there, and he has to go back to the truck for something. I'm hearing this old man say, "Call for a lady," and I'm like, "I think the lady went that way," or something like that. Come to find out, that was Mark Chase Boast, the Chase Bank,
No.
and that was him who talked to me, and I didn't even know.
Damn.
And that I will always remember that. Like, man, you can meet so many. And then I've met Dolphin head coach who took him to the Super Bowl. What's his name?
Shula?
No. This is back in the day. Hellenberger, something.
The Dolphins went to the Super Bowl?
No, not the Super Bowl. I can't remember what.
I think they went with Dan Marino once.
Yeah, I think.
And they lost that game.
Yeah, they probably lost, but I don't know. They went to the Super Bowl. That's what it was. They didn't win the Super Bowl, but yeah, I can't. But
all
anyway,
right, but the coach of the Dolphins.
Right. So, because I went to his house and you can just see everything. He wasn't there at the time. It was his wife, but it was just like, certain things like that put me in mind frame to. I can't say everybody who goes out there, and I'm a type of person where when I go into a service call and I go into a house, I don't really speak on things until the customer says something. Until they say, "Hey, look at this," or "Hey, I'm getting to the problem and what the problem is." So, if anytime a customer comes to, "Hey, come look at hey, let me show you something. Hey, I'm down for it." But yeah, don't ever go in a customer's house and just. So anyway, it's just like after going to seeing these things, I'm like, man, this is just so much motivation to keep me going in this appliance repair because I'm never seeing the same thing every day.
Yeah, that's true.
That's probably the best aspect about it for me. And at this point, going on different service calls, seeing a different appliance, that's just what I love about the business.
Yep.
But back to what you were saying, what the worst parts about it, like the warranty companies, and what else can I say? Something that's bad about their appliance?
Let me give a crazy story speech real quick. As you were saying yours that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. I remember I was working on a Viking fridge. This was on a high-end condo, and definitely in the very elementary beginning phases of my appliance repair journey.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem was ice maker not making ice.
Right.
So I took the ice maker out, and I physically inspected it, whatever, and I put it back, whatever. I was gonna put the ice maker back in, but the lady went on vacation, so she says, "Can you put it in when I get back?"
Oh gosh. Okay.
So I said, "No problem." So I put the ice maker back. I closed the door, whatever. She gets back from vacation and calls me and says, "Hey, I can't open the door." So I say, well, you know, you probably not in my head. That is,
Right,
you're
right.
probably not strong enough. Whatever, you know, Lord knows what's going on with
Right.
this. This is for the ice maker. It's not nothing to do with the door.
Right, right.
So I said, ma'am, you sure you didn't like tug it? And she says, no, I'm really strong. I tug. I called the supervisor, the superintendent. Everybody's trying. No one could do it. And I'm like, damn, okay, something probably got wet. I don't know. Let me go check it out.
Right.
So I go there myself, confident, cocky. What's going on here?
Can't get the door open.
No matter what, I couldn't get the door open.
I've been there.
Oh, no. This is bad.
This is bad, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So, man, like I say, well, you know, I can't open it. Let me come back the next day with another guy. You know, and I'm calling like everybody that I know that does appliance repair. Like, bro, this door won't open. Help me. What do you think it is? Because you know, when you're just starting, you're calling for help and you're
Right.
trying to get second opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, no, check this, check that. Go. So tomorrow, you know, the next day, I didn't even sleep that night. The only thing I could think about was the service call and this lady and this Viking.
Right.
And if I have to replace this fridge, this is a $8,000 fridge. What am I gonna do? Maybe I have to even call somebody from Viking to
Right.
figure this out. Lord knows. So I say, all right, well, the
I
next
got an
morning,
idea. Since you said it was a Viking, go ahead. I got
I'm
an
gonna
idea
I'm
what
gonna
it is.
I'm gonna see what it is. So the next morning I show up, I drink a coffee, I listen to self motivational speeches. I go in there pumped.
Mm-hmm.
I get to and it was a bottom door, bottom mount freezer, bottom mount freezer. The ice maker was in the bottom. It was a bottom mount freezer.
Mm-hmm.
I said, nah, I don't care what happens. I'm getting this door open today. And I pull it, and I cracked it just an inch. And I was able to finally see inside and what was going on. And when I looked, it was solid ice.
How high was it?
Solid ice. It's okay. Maybe, you know, something got stirred. It's a little bit of ice. Let me
Right.
get my steamer. Now the door was able to go. And I said, holy cow, this is frozen from here to the back. It's a big block of ice. Chances are, when I remove the ice maker, when I put it back in, I didn't connect the ice maker fill tube.
Yeah.
But shout out to Viking gaskets. Because not one drop of water came out of that fridge. Bro, we had that
Wow.
unit off for like 8 days
Damn.
before we finally were able to remove it. Think about it. The
Damn.
entire cabinet.
And no water came out?
And no water
Damn.
came out.
Shout out to them.
Viking, we love you, man. I'll never make that mistake again, though. I had a technician of mine, right? I ain't gonna say no names, you know. This was in a historical house. This was one of them homes that, like, you can't, like, do demolition or change the appearance of it
Right,
because
right.
you take away from its historical value.
Right.
This brother had a washer, a Duet, Whirlpool Duet, that he did the drain pump, but he forgot to hook up the tub to pump hose. Oh, technical difficulties. There we go.
I got you, man.
Shop talk, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta love it.
It's beautiful out here, though.
It's beautiful out here,
It's
guys.
beautiful.
Yeah, come get some fresh air with us. Shout out to brother Mike Check, man,
Yes,
in
sir.
the building. Thank you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And we're coming up to the 1 hour and a half. We'll cut the people short here unless you guys something to add. But let me finish about my
Go ahead.
brother, and then you know the
Right,
floor
right.
is yours. So he forgot to hook up the tub to pump hose.
Oh.
The lady pushed the unit to wash. All of a sudden, as she starts the unit, water comes pouring out everywhere on a historical home wood floor. Oh, man.
You're a technician?
I was the owner and that was my tech. But she was cool about it. Love, peace, and harmony, man. But those are some stories that I'll never forget, man. But Mike, we running up on 1 hour and a half, man. I think it's gonna rain, man.
Yeah, looking like it.
With all that said, man, go ahead, man. The floor is yours. listen, everybody. Honestly, from the bottom of your heart, we doing an outdoor episode tonight. And one thing about Florida, it could be super dry and sunny, and then all of a sudden go rain.
Yeah.
And we believe that's about to happen, but we don't want to wet the equipment and none of that. So with that, I'm gonna leave the floor to my brother Mike. Brother Mike, the floor is yours. Promote yourself, promote your brand.
If you guys haven't checked out Mike Check Appliance on YouTube, I'm there. Mike Check Appliance on Instagram, I'm there. You always see me in the comments, usually on my brother B's channel, talking whatever. You know, we got to keep the love, peace, and the harmony with all in the community. You know, that's just how we rock out here. And shout out to everybody that's getting into the industry and learning and wanting to learn. Make sure you have a good foundation, because you know, I'm pretty sure everybody said this. Watching YouTube videos will only take you so far. You need a basis on where you need to learn certain things, and feeling comfortable and learning how to be appliance repair technician, because you know, at the end of the day, you have to be a technician. Also, you know, in certain people cases, you have to be a business owner as well, and that's in my case. And sometimes some people cannot handle that headache, but you know, that's just how it goes. And thanks for watching. You know,
ladies and gentlemen, next time I'm gonna go on my brother's channel. So that means all of y'all gotta subscribe to him to catch me on his channel for his episode. You know, and with that said, be on the lookout for the 10 Commandments of Appliance Repair. Be on the lookout for the Eric Kleinart Appliance Repair
good book
review. It's a good book, but I'm gonna be honest with it though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Because everything has good and bad.
Right.
But be on the lookout for that, even though it has more good than bad.
Right.
But you know, we gotta be fair.
Yeah.
But again, y'all, thank you for rocking with us. Again, we regular people, man, and we do appliance repair, and you know, this is an opportunity. We taking our personal time. We taking our personal time to help y'all. So thank y'all for being with us. You know, understanding that, you know, the situation here. We off the clock text, doing tech talk.
We work today. You know, we both work today. I mean, shout out to the people who don't work on the weekends, but we work today.
We entitled to do our thing, right?
Right.
And with that, guys, we want to say thank you for being part of this. Thank you. We would be nothing without you. And that I say we because you're just as important as any of us here.
Right.
And thank you for just being part of the network. With all that said, tune in. Love, peace, and harmony. And until the next time, this is TMM Appliance Network. Thank you for checking in with us. Doing a collaboration with Mike Check Appliance Repair. Signing out.